Hello, good evening once again. It's another Tuesday with the Mental Catalyst. Last week, Tuesday, we had a session on failure. And failure basically is when you attempt to do something and it doesn't go the way you expect and you give up. And that's when you quit. But failing is when it doesn't go the way you expect and you don't give up, you don't quit, and you try to get the same thing done again in another way. So success typically encompasses a lot of failing, whereby you figured out a way that something doesn't work, so you're trying another approach. So failure in itself, as we know it, is not a bad thing, but if we don't learn from it, then obviously we've not gotten much out of it. Today, we're going to look at an interesting piece which affects all of us. But I'll start with a short story. Basically, I think about 20 something years ago, a while back, in sixth form Accra Academy, I happened to meet a very young lady called Amma. Amma actually went to Morning Star School, where I had gone to school. She had about 3 siblings, guys, as well. I remember her brothers very well because I think one of them was my senior or so I kind of knew them, but I didn't know Amma then. So Amma had come to Accra Academy sixth form, and she was in lower six whilst I was in upper six. And I happened to befriend her. And one of my best friends, a guy, also kind of like was a very good friend. And so we were all very close. And as time went on, I realized Amma was not a normal human being. She was specially crafted, and very, very unique, very, very different. She had this wonderful smile, and anytime she wanted something done, all she had to do was just smile and it got done. And as the days and weeks and months went by, our friendship kind of deepened, and I found myself always wanting to be in her company. A lot of times after school, I'll go drop her off at home. She lived at Zoti Latibiokoshi, and I'll park my car outside the house, and we'll sit in the car, and we will talk and talk and talk as if there's no tomorrow. Sometimes in the afternoons, or let's say on weekends, when I go visit, I'll park my car out, and then we just go for a walk, a stroll in her area, just talking about life and the future and the things we want to do and our plans and stuff like that. But she was one person that had my number. She had a way to my heart, and she always defended me fiercely in public, but behind the scenes she'll come back and scold me. And this is somebody that I was probably 2 or 3 years older. I think probably 2 years older. And she always used to tell me, Michael, this is it, I always have to tell you the truth. I love you, but I have to tell you the truth. So maybe when I don't do something right, or let's say I offended somebody, or I kind of like shun somebody, I'm gonna come and say, no, Michael, you didn't do it well, so please go and make peace and say you're sorry and stuff. And I always used to listen to her. So I remember when I was thinking about my next big plans, the next things I was going to do, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to America, man. I think we need to go to America because that's a superpower. That's where the action is, so we have to go. And we had all of these great plans, Anytime she had issues with my best friend, the guy that kind of liked her, I was always in the middle. And it was a tough play because I loved them both. And as you know, sometimes when you're in between, there are a lot of issues here and there, but it's always fun. So I think late June 1995, I hadn't seen Amma like 2 days. So I think I was getting ready because I was going to travel. So I went there one evening to just check on her and say, hey, Charlie, how are you? Because around that time we didn't have mobile phones. So if you wanted to see somebody, you had to actually go there to see them. So I went to her house, and when I got to her house, there were cars outside and there were people in and out, and I was like, well, I'm here to see Amma. And everybody was looking at me like, haven't you heard? I said, no. I said, well, Amma went to bed and never woke up. Amma went to bed and never woke up. She had a crisis in her sleep. How is that possible? My Amma cannot die. She could not leave this earth. She didn't tell me she was going anywhere. We had all of these big plans. How could she not know? It's not possible. And as I asked more people, they were like, yeah, Amma is no more. Amma is gone. Half of me died that day because Amma was my friend. Amma was my sister. She understood me. She protected me. She scolded me. She gave me a reason to live. She gave me a reason to fight. She gave me a reason to dream. She understood me. And this was my friend, and she's no more, and she's gone. All the big plans we had, all the reasons why I wanted to go to America, I used to tell her, look, we are going to make a lot of money. We're going to make millions. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know, all of those plans, what happens to them? I had to accept it. So, Mama was buried. I was there with my best friend. It was tough. Very, very tough. It was the first time that I really felt grief. I couldn't understand it because it was an amazing soul. She was a specially crafted human being. All she had to do was smile, and she had dimples. And I love dimples, so anytime she was smiling, and you know, she knows I like the dimples, so she'd give me the side of her face that had the most beautiful dimple. And all I had to do was say, look, you're not serious. And we'll laugh about it, you know. We were that tight. So I left to America knowing that I had left my friend behind. At that time, my best friend had already also left. So fast forward last Friday, about 7 p.m., whilst I was doing my daily reading, I got a ping on my WhatsApp from a good friend. And she was like, have you heard from Solo? I said, yeah. I mean, Solo and I had lunch, you know, in December to talk about some new ideas I was working on. And then about last week, Solo and I also had a chat, and I was supposed to have seen him this week, but when I called him, he said I should call him back, but I was a little busy. And Solo, as we call him Uncle Solo, Solo is a world-class IT consultant who has done massive work in Europe, in the US. Solid guy. And he's somebody that I've known for probably 11 to 12 years. And I normally will go to him to bounce off ideas from him and, you know, just soak some wisdom and, you know, have serious conversations. So I was like, yeah, I'm sure he's okay. And my friend was like, no, I'm seeing on his wall that people are posting rest in peace, Solo, rest in peace. I said, well, how? Solo is okay. So then I called a mutual friend who happened to work with him. And she confirmed that yes, Uncle Solo was no more. This is somebody I had just spoken to not a while ago. Somebody I had lunch with. How could Solo not be there? And when I had the last conversation with Solo, he had something to share with me because I told him about what we're trying to do regarding, you know, health. And he was like, you know what? There's actually the traditional health side. You know, you have more people on that side than the orthodox, you know, medicine. So I think we should look at that side. So he had an insight that I had no idea, you know, about, and I was really looking forward to that. But I hear was Solo, out of nowhere. Somebody that I go to for wisdom, I go to have serious conversations with, somebody that will tell you as it is, was no more, just gone. Just gone. Then it dawned on me that, you know what, truly, tomorrow is not promised. And if tomorrow is not promised, what are we doing about it? Of late, yes, we have a lot of people who are popping and dropping, and all we say is, oh, rest in peace, rest in the bosom of the Lord, you're going to a better place. Yes, probably they are. But what is most important is what we do with those lessons. What we do with those lessons. Because tomorrow is not promised any of us. And every day you want to live right. And what do I mean by that? For those who are watching, a lot of us are carrying emotional baggages. We are holding on to beefs. We have issues with our own siblings, our own parents, our own friends, our own co-workers. We are not talking to them. We are dragging stuff left and right. We are fighting. Negative energy. To what point? What if you have a beef with somebody and the next time you hear the person has popped, you're gone? Is it really worth it? No. What I've learned in my short life is, look, you know what? You have no benefit when you carry beef and when you carry emotional baggage. So if you're out there listening, if there's somebody you're not on good terms with, reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? Happy New Year. How you doing? I'm just checking up on you. I hope you're good. Take care. Just do that. It takes nothing out of you. You lose nothing. What it does for you, it sets you free. When you have a big agenda, a big purpose that you're pursuing, you need positive energy around you. You don't need negativity. You can achieve massive success when you have negative energy around you. Let it go. Let it go, because tomorrow is not promising any of us. I'm here saying, oh, the next 20 years, every Tuesday, we're going to have Tuesdays with the mental catalyst. It's only a wish. I don't control tomorrow. What I control are the choices I make now as to how I relate to people. I remember Christmas, one of my mentees sent me a message. The first thing he typed was SMH, shaking my head. So then I called him. I said, what's wrong? He said, can you believe it? I actually gave my boss a hamper. And my boss didn't, appreciate it. So I smiled and I said, you know what? Did you give the hamper to your boss because you wanted him to show appreciation? Or you did it because you thought he deserved it and you thought it was the right thing to do? Most of the time we do things with expectations. We need to learn how to manage our expectations because that is when we get disappointed. What I've learned is this. One, the greatest quality that I think I cherish so much is being calm and patient. So that when somebody pokes me wrong or something doesn't go right, I try not to look at things from my lens or my perspective. I try to understand them. Why did they do this? What were their reasons? What inputs did they use to decide to do what they did? But a lot of times, most of us will always just look at things through our lens and think that we are right and the other person is wrong. But what I've learned in my short life, which has really helped me, is I always look at why is this person doing this? Why did they do that? Try to understand where you're coming from. And most times I'll try and go back and say, you know what, understand where you're coming from. But this was my position. But I think next time let's do it this way or that way. You can't always have everybody, being that understanding. But remember, it's for your own good because you don't want to carry emotional baggage. You don't want to carry emotional baggage. Now, when you have a big purpose, a big agenda, for example, we want to touch 1 billion lives in the next 20 years. It's a humongous task. It's not trivial. I mean, there's so many reasons why it will not even work. So why would you there's no time for whining and bickering and doing emotional stuff. No, there's a place for that. I'm not saying that always entertain everybody and allow people to abuse you. But what I'm saying is this: let us critically think objectively and look at other people's perspectives before we make moves or we take certain positions. There's a reason why somebody may see a glass of water half full and somebody may see it half empty. But at the end of the day, remember that you are trying to set yourself free. If you are watching, please, let's learn to manage our expectations. Let us learn to love. Let us learn to have peace within us. Because without peace, you cannot own the world. So if you're watching, and me, Michael, Mela, aka the mental catalyst, has offended you in any way, knowingly or unknowingly, I beg you, forgive and let it go. Because tomorrow is not promised any of us. We are going to touch the lives of 1 billion people, and it is cooking, and I'm going to share with you. So guys, my brothers and sisters, let us love unconditionally. Let us forgive. Let us set our souls free. Let us dare, let us dream. And let's make things happen. Take care. Keep on wearing your mask. Next Tuesday, we're going to meet again, God willing.